All right, so Jess,
Yeah.
you know what time it is, right?
I have a vague
All
idea.
right, partner, you know what time it is. No matter what day of the week, it's always going to be Fred Durst Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you what. Fucking turn that baseball cap backwards. Open up a nice, cold, refreshing glass of hot dog flavored water and sit back as we go through the best Fred Durst side project on Fred Durst fucking Friday. Yeah. Now, and also, illustrious thing, today is literally Fred Durst's 50th birthday, August 20th.
Big 5-0.
The day of recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know what? We got to do something special.
It's his big day.
It's his big motherfucking 5-0 day.
50 years ago today. His
Not
mom's
5-0
pussy
like
was
the
wide
cops,
open.
5-0 because it's a fucking, this is the start of his middle age.
Can we get the sound of a loading gun?
his middle age, I believe, probably started a little earlier.
No, Fred Durst is going to live to 100 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's healthy. He's as healthy as a fucking ox.
If anything, 150.
And on this very illustrious episode, we will be reviewing two very historic Fred Durst articles. And we'll get into the first one right now. So, this article is about the illustrious event known as Woodstock 99. Now, folks, Mike and Jess, do you guys know about Woodstock 99 before we get started?
I do know that
Yeah.
it was a complete shit show and that some riots started during Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff performance.
Yeah, major
Kind of.
disaster and maybe the last good music festival.
Yes, this is true. All of Warped Tour sucks. Let's see here.
Hey, we went to Bonnaroo
Coachella's
2014.
bad.
That was pretty rocking.
Bonnaroo's rocks, dude.
Well,
Fuck 'em.
I mean, the Fire Festival was the last good music festival.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe
100%.
the first good music festival.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fire music festival.
It
dude.
was pretty fire.
I love those cheese sandwiches at the refugee camp.
Those cheese sandwiches were so good. I didn't even care that I missed Blink 182. So,
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say,
I also miss Ja
though,
Rule too.
yeah.
it is lovely that the Woodstock 99 followed in Woodstock, the original Woodstock's footsteps. And
69.
not,
And having a lot of rape.
having a lot of rape and not being prepared for the number of attendees that were there.
Do you remember when they tried doing Woodstock 2019
Yes.
and didn't happen?
Yeah, it didn't happen at all because
Didn't they propose a
nobody wanted to
lineup
go.
that was like
It was
disgustingly bad?
It
Like-
was just like the most corporate bullshit that like no one is actually a fan of. That it's the
Yeah,
type of
it
thing
was
where
like-
they make all of their money and get all their fans through like commercial sponsorship deals and shit.
It was basically Sha Na Na, but the entire music festival. Oh, all right. But with that out of the way, we're going to go to our article from TheRinger.com. Also, it was named after The Ringer. Wasn't that the Johnny Cash? Not Johnny Cash.
The Johnny Depp movie where he
yes.
joined the Special Olympics.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Johnny
the
Depp.
Johnny Knoxville movie where he. To be fair, that's one of the more positive portrayals of mentally challenged people in comparison to what Hollywood usually puts out.
Oh, my Lanta. Remember?
I like to imagine Johnny Depp in that role instead of Johnny Knoxville. But yeah,
I mean, Johnny Knoxville
remember
is
watching
been
that
great.
movie.
I mean, Johnny Knoxville is
back
probably a
in the
morally
day.
better person than Johnny Depp. Let's be honest.
Well, because Johnny Knoxville's dick doesn't work because of all the shit.
No,
that
that's
he
the thing
threw
is that
at it.
like he literally can't rape because his dick doesn't work.
I
don't work.
I don't know. I haven't followed the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial thing.
No, I'm mostly just being a
Basically,
shithead. I know
he is a
Amber.
victim of abuse, and that is awful. But also,
Yeah.
I don't like him as an actor. So
And also, Amber Heard literally shit in his bed.
yeah,
She
Goddamn.
did fucking Jess's cat. What does on a daily basis.
Look, my cat took a shit in the litter box, and the smell wafted out here, and it won't be let go.
All right, but you know what? We've done too many fucking non sequiturs here. We need to get into the article. And the article from, once again, The Ringer is called Limp Bizkit Got the Blame for the Woodstock 99 Riots. But it's not that simple. And the underline of this is the first episode of quote unquote Break Stuff. The Ringer's new documentary podcast series about the doomed festival explores whether the bad boys of nu metal were really the cause of the chaos. Which, by the way, I'm absolutely listening to that fucking podcast.
I should listen. How did they get a whole podcast out of this one event?
Dude, Woodstock 99 was fucking insane. There was so much shit going on. I could imagine you could get easily 8 episodes if they're an hour long each. Easily. There's so much shit going on with
and
Woodstock 99.
I hope they plug us back.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No,
plug
I mean,
us
we
back,
should tweet
baby.
this at Ringer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to tweet this at Ringer, and we demand a
podcast just-
sponsorship.
The podcast just came out a year ago, so it's still somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Fuck Bill Simmons. I don't want anything to do with that rat bastard.
Yeah, Bill Simmons fucking sucks, and Boston is trash overall.
Not as bad as Ben Simmons,
Fuck
though.
Ian Celtic.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck the Suxers, too.
All right. In 1999, a music festival in upstate New York became a social experiment. Not that kind of social experiment where you commit racism on YouTube and then after people call you out, say, it was just a fucking prank, bro. Not that kind of social experiment.
Is it more like the kind of social experiment where you expose a woman for being a gold digger?
Yeah, her name's Andali.
Oh, yeah.
There were riots, looting, and numerous assaults, all set to a soundtrack of the era's most aggressive rock bands. Incredibly, this was the third iteration of Woodstock, a festival originally known for peace, love, and hippie idealism. But Woodstock 99 revealed some hard truths behind the myths of the 1960s and the danger that nostalgia can engender. All right, and this is an excerpt from the Break Stuff podcast. By 1999, Limp Bizkit wasn't merely a popular rock band. They were a pop band. MTV's signature teen music show TRL played the video for Nookie nearly as often as it played clips by Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys. After Woodstock 99, Limp Bizkit went from the bad boys of TRL to the villains of the festival. The media said Limp Bizkit drove the audience to a riot when they played the incendiary Break Stuff, a standout track from the band's second album, Significant Other, which, standout track, it's the most standout track of any album ever made. I'm sorry, it's a great fucking song.
Gotta be.
I will say that's probably my favorite Limp Bizkit.
It's a pretty good fucking song. It's nice and simple. It's fucking hard as shit, and it gets you fucking ready to fucking chap asses raw with chainsaws.
That's true. But I will say...
Or skin your asses raw with chainsaws, sorry.
They reference the era when they were playing the Nookie video constantly, and I remember at the time I was being babysat by my aunt a lot, and my cousins watched a lot of MTV, and I saw the Nookie video, and I was literally hypnotized. Like something about like the fucking little janky guitar riff and everything going on in that song. I was like, I stopped dead in my tracks and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Listen, as I've always said, Wes Borland is an incredible guitarist, and honestly, the guitar tune on Nookie fucking rips. I love it. It's so good.
It's a very catchy song, and I can't help but have a weak spot for that song. Like Break Stuff is a decent track too, but like something about Nookie just like hits me in my core.
Well, yeah, once again, Significant Other is like a legit, really fucking good album. I like it a lot. Even now, this is probably the one thing that everybody thinks they know about Woodstock 99. Limp Bizkit played Break Stuff, and tens of thousands of hooligans were provoked into breaking lots of stuff.
Can we
That's
still
the
say
story,
that?
right? What? Hooligans?
We still say hooligans? We
think
could
so.
say it in 2019, but no.
Canceled.
Canceled. I mean, soccer hooligans are still cool. I mean,
That's true.
shit.
well, that's, I mean, in Britain it's
You
a
mean
little bit different.
football hooligans?
Yeah, football hooligans.
That's the thing. It's part of my culture, so I can say it, but you can't say no. Well, it's what at least one of the organizers of Woodstock 99 would have us believe. Even now, John Scher, the festival's promoter, doesn't mince words when it comes to Limp Bizkit. John Scher says, quote unquote, "You had a cheerleader in Fred Durst, who, if I haven't said enough times, is a complete fucking asshole," Scher said. Quote unquote, Fred Durst.
Fuck you!
Man, fuck you! Quote unquote, Fred Durst was a moron. He was out of his mind. He was completely out of his fucking mind. And then Fred Durst chimed back once again, "Man, fuck you!"
And it worked even better that time because it hits.
Yeah, it does. Here's the thing. Blaming the bands for all the rioting, looting, and assaults, it's a little too easy and reductive. And for the people who organize Woodstock 99, it's very convenient. Hip-hop and metal have always been the easiest genres to demonize. So naturally, the melding of these genres made new metal acts especially susceptible to being scapegoated. Jonathan Davis, the lead singer of Korn, you didn't have to say it. We all know who Jonathan Davis is. He's the biggest celebrity
Is there
of all time.
another John Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Superdrag.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Who performed at the
We discussed
festival?
this in a previous episode.
Favorite band of all time.
Who performed at the festival agrees. "I don't think that the riot should have happened, period," Davis said. "That was some bullshit. But I think Bizkit being blamed for it because they were the heavy band. We were the outlaws at the time. I don't think it was their fucking fault." Which, I mean, you know, fuck it, sure, whatever. Here's another reason why you can't solely blame Limp Bizkit for the madness of Woodstock 99. The riots didn't actually happen after Limp Bizkit played. In fact, the demonization of Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit is partly based on a faulty timeline. And I knew this for a fact. The riots occurred on Sunday, the festival's final day, around the time that Red Hot Chili Peppers and Megadeth performed. And I know for a fact that the fires at least started during Red Hot Chili Peppers set.
Oh, damn.
So, want to blame Fred? No, blame Anthony Kiedis, the worst frontman of any band of all time.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm not going to
Spicy
have...
take, but I don't
Listen,
like the Chili Peppers.
you know what? This meme brought to you by Mike Patton Gang. Oh, shit. Limp Bizkit played on Saturday night. It's true that there were other bad things that occurred on Saturday night, but the fires, the looting of vendors, the exploding refrigeration truck, that all occurred on Sunday. Durst and guitarist Wes Borland attempted to make that distinction in a 2014 interview. Quote unquote, from West Borland. To watch the news reports of the mashup of our day and the next day where the fires were, watching them cut footage of the fires, cutting that into our set at the same time, was just like, they were just like, let's make this fucking worse, Borland said. Found opportunity to point a finger, Durst said. I think they found a good spin on it. I wasn't at Woodstock 99, but I've watched video of the Limp Bizkit performance on YouTube many times. From the video, two things are immediately obvious. First, the crowd was extremely rambunctious and unruly. Some of the misbehavior is typical drunken buffoonery that's ultimately harmless. Other acts are flat out criminal. Now, we will get into some kind of gratuitous stuff, so little trigger warning here for the audience because I want to be nice. Two random cutaways to the audience show topless women whose breasts were groped by nearby men. In fact, some men were prosecuted for these and actually ended up spending years in prison. That's a aside. It's not in the article.
Better than Cage's character selling sand.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he should be put away prison for serial rape many times. Men who didn't, from what I can tell, have permission to touch those women. This happened in shots that last for maybe a second or two each. If it was that easy to capture footage of women being sexually assaulted, I can only imagine how widespread it was. And there were a lot of rapes at Woodstock 99. That is a fact. Second, Limp Bizkit pulled out all the stops to rev up the audience. For the first half of the show, there's a familiar pattern. Limp Bizkit plays an upbeat and pile-driving number, and the audience goes wild. Then Durst encourages everybody to get even crazier. But the wildest moment of the show isn't break stuff. It actually occurs about 20 minutes earlier when Limp Bizkit plays a cover of Thieves by the band Ministry, which I'd never heard of them cover that. I'm sure it's probably pretty good.
I didn't realize they were Ministry fans.
The reaction from the audience is awe-inspiring. I mean, that is both a compliment and a condemnation. You know those berserker crowd scenes in Mad Max Fury Road? That's how crazy it was. It's terrifying and kind of exhilarating to watch. Damn, that sounds pretty fucking badass.
That sounds pretty cool. Mm-hmm. If Wes Borland was like playing the guitar in the front of a car, that'd be fucking rad.
Yeah, he's got the fucking skin of his mother going, and there's like fires coming going on. Hell yeah, dude. Fun fact, that guy, that guy in Mad Max Fury Road was Wes Borland.
Oh.
So
I mean,
that
makes a lot of sense,
even more appreciation for Fury Road.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
The Limp Bizkit performance sent hundreds of kids from the mosh pits to the medical tents. Brian Hyatt was there, covering Woodstock 99 for a website called Sonic Net. He later investigated the festival for a year. I watched the Limp Bizkit set, Hyatt said. Fred Durst is not a great moment of judgment. Basically told the crowd to tear shit up, which they did, and rip pieces off a sound tower and were surfing on them. There's a very legendary scene where you see a guy literally surfing on a like fucking 10-foot long by 5-foot long piece of fucking like wood off a cell tower.
I have seen that.
It's pretty funny.
I remember that.
I then went to the medical tent and saw weeping kids who had been injured in the mosh pit and talked to medical staff who were just overwhelmed with kids injured in some of the craziest mosh pits ever. They had kids going to the medical tent telling the doctors, they need to stop the show. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Holy shit.
That sounds pretty fucked, dude. Eventually, Limp Bizkit started to play a few slower numbers. It's around now that the Woodstock 99 cameras find the surfers that Brian saw, hanging 10 on wood removed from one of the central towers. When you watch the video, it appears that Durst sees this, though he doesn't acknowledge it at first. Here's what I know for sure. Was Durst aware of how crazy the audience was and actively working to steer things in a more manageable direction? Or was he too far removed from the crowd to know one way or the other? Unfortunately, neither Durst nor anybody else from Limp Bizkit would talk to me. But Rob Sheffield, a journalist who covered the festival for Rolling Stone, remembers Durst actually encouraging audience members to help one another. From where I was standing in the crowd, deep in the crowd, There was a sense that he was trying to sort of encourage a fun and rowdy environment, Sheffield said, but not trying to incite a riot. He kept stressing, if anyone falls down, pick them up. Which, talk about, he has his fucking start in the metal and punk scene. That's
mosh pit law.
That's fucking that is straight up. That's hardcore law.
Good for Fred for stressing that out. Unfortunately, it didn't help with all the rapes, but whatever.
Well, he didn't specifically say don't rape.
Yeah.
Well, he said if anybody rapes, punch him in the face, maybe things would have gotten a little.
He literally said, "Oh yeah, if you see a woman fall down, pick her up, and then immediately sexually assault her." That was
pick her
cut
up by
out.
the tits. He said.
I believe Nick Cage in the movie Zandali told him to say that. So,
but Fred Durst showed some judgment and didn't say that.
That's true. Though. At a certain point during the set, he said, "Okay, we let some negative energy out. This is after they play break stuff." And he said, "Now we want to bring the positivity." And then they did Nookie, and they did George Michael's Faith. I mean, Faith is a very positive energy song, especially when
as is Nookie,
So it would be nice.
Which was
I could nook your body.
which was a great festival jam. Everybody knew the words to that one. Limp Bizkit finally plays break stuff about 2/3 into the set. It's an intense performance that brings the audience back to its feet. As the energy builds and builds, you can see more and more boards being removed from the central tower. Eventually, Durst himself will end up crowd surfing on one of those boards. Oh, I did see that. He actually did go on one of those boards and was doing a fucking performance.
I don't know if I remember. It's been a while since I've actually watched the performance.
Yeah.
As someone who's watched a lot of Woodstock 99 performances, I can't argue that Limp Bizkit didn't do their job. Slamming Fred Durst seems like an act of deflection. It's not an honest attempt to address the mistakes that were made at the festival. Looking back, Maureen Callahan, who covered the festival for Spin, feels the same way. Somebody asked me recently, would you blame any of the acts for what happened? And I think that's really unfair, Callahan said. These are acts that are parachuting in and parachuting out. Again, that's sort of my reluctance to ascribe it to a particular act. Because then you're also taking away any culpability on the part of the kids who are, going too far. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. And going too far includes sexual assault.
Yeah.
And injuring hundreds of teenagers. That's going too far.
It's a few steps over the line.
Yeah, just a couple steps. So yeah, this article I think is really good and has a more nuanced take of what happened at Woodstock 99.
And I would agree with that too. I mean, obviously, a band can kind of incite a riot if they wanted to, but I think it's unfair to place the full blame onto the performance act because one, especially in a crowd that large, you can't tell what the fuck is going on.
No, I mean, literally, I think there were
stage.
well over 500,000 people with Woodstock 99.
Yeah,
You can't fucking tell.
It's a sea of
you've
people.
got fucking spotlights blaring in your face that are going to prevent you from actually seeing what's going on there. And, honestly, giant crowds like that are just kind of scary and bad in general.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
objectively.
things like my
They're a
scariest
complete
moment.
entity of their own.
Yes, the scariest moment I've ever been at a music festival was actually not even during the performance. It was after the performance and everybody was moving to other stages.
You're talking about after Kendrick Lamar?
After Kendrick Lamar at fucking Bonnaroo. And Jesus Christ, it was terrifying. I wasn't walking, but I was moving.
I was floating.
Yeah, I was literally floating on the ground. My legs were not moving, but I was moving with this crowd. And it was,
Jesus.
shit
People were
like that
getting
is...
pissed at each other like it was someone's fault that they were moving at whatever speed and whatever direction they were
That
in.
just sounds like it would give me a fucking panic attack.
I was having
awful.
a borderline panic attack. But it's I don't know. At a certain point, crowds begin to behave like a fluid and not really like people.
Yeah.
No, yeah, especially with
And-
crowds that fucking large and crowds that are that unruly. And the other thing about Woodstock 99 was that there was just no one was equipped to handle that many fucking people.
Oh, absolutely not.
Literally, there were we talk about medical tents, but even the vendors and stuff like that, they were running out of water so much that they were charging $8 for a fucking bottle of water because it was just that fucking rare.
That was 1999 too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
What I was gonna say
$1999.
is,
it's like a $20 for a bottle of water now.
I took issue with them saying, for one, this kind of ties in with a couple of things. For one, they called Limp Bizkit the most aggressive band of the era.
Yeah.
Which, I know for a fact that bands can cause riots because there was a band that existed at that time called Bad Luck 13 Riot Extravaganza, and they were a lot more aggressive than Limp Bizkit. That's all.
That's the thing. I think they're trying to talk about it in a more of a more pop and normie sense. Limp Bizkit was the most aggressive band on the radio at the fucking time.
Yeah, and
Well, really, the point is
I don't know,
that
that's
they
a
really
corner.
should have put fucking Bad Luck Riot Extravaganza on the bill.
so here's-
Woodstock '99.
I think that Korn might have been heavier, at least in the subject matter, but in regards to like aggro-ness, Limp Bizkit were objectively much more aggro.
I suppose they're angry.
Because even though Jonathan Davis does have very heavy lyrics, and I think he does have a very like aggressive stage presence, sometimes it's much more of like a lashing out against like the fucking like it's like a bullied kid lashing out, whereas Fred Durst is just like a fucking like borderline frat douche bro kind of guy, like a persona. Because I don't think Fred Durst is that type of person. I think that was his fucking persona. Because I mean, it's possible, but the idea of a man who has a nearly 10-year-old daughter in his early 30s acting like that on stage while he's like rich as shit and is a big wig at Interscope doesn't sound quite right to. It doesn't quite sit.
Yeah,
and someone who'd been in the military for quite a long time as like a respected like naval officer, I don't know. Frat douche bro doesn't really fit.
This whole thing just has a feel like some asshole heard at some meeting that the band that was playing at this time had a song called Break Stuff, and they were like, holy shit, they were telling people to break stuff.
It stinks of the whole like Marilyn Manson being blamed for Columbine type.
Yeah,
100%,
it really does. And there, you know, what's funny is that
I mean, that was his fault, but
yes, objectively. In fact, Marilyn Manson is responsible for all school shootings. Believe it or not.
yeah, he actually got a rib removed so he could kill all the teenagers in America.
He's responsible for violent video games.
Oh, that's true.
So he is
yes.
in part responsible.
Talk about Woodstock '99. The music video for the song "Rearranged" off "Significant Other" is literally about people judging Fred Durst in like the court of public opinion and executing him. And that's what the music video for "Rearranged" is about. You should watch it.
I'll check it out.
It's very artistic. It's very very cinematic. It's honestly a good music video though, but the whole thing is like, oh, you caused the riots and then we're gonna murder you, and that's how the music video ends. So, without that further ado, let's get into a much more lighthearted article. This one is called "Austin Citizens Vote to Name Solid Waste Department After Fred Durst." Yeah, Austin, Texas. And believe it or not, the person who put this together was a guy named Alex Jones, because he lives in Austin. I'd never heard of him before, but apparently he's got a very popular radio show. He's got a lot of info, and he's going to go to war with it.
He's
Yeah,
very
Stone Cold
concerned about some
Steve
gay
Alex Jones.
frogs.
Dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a co-signer of that petition. So,
Oh, shit.
when the city of Austin asked its citizens to help rename solid waste services, the people made their voices heard. And overwhelming.
I'd like to say Solid Waste Services, boo, Solid Work Productions.
Yay.
Solid word.
Solid turd projections.
An overwhelming number of those polled want it named after a certain Limp Bizkit frontman. According to the Austin Chronicle, Solid Waste Services hope to rebrand itself by focusing less on wastefulness and more on environmentally friendly, sustainable practices. In the Austin spirit of innovative thinking, the department opted to crowdsource a new name for the public utility using a web poll. The unorthodox responses should have been no surprise for a city whose unofficial mascot is a homeless crossdresser. I'm going to look that shit up later. What the fuck?
What?
Yeah, gotta check that out.
That's cool as fuck. The most votes by a wide margin were cast for 24-year-old Kyle Hentage's submission, Fred Durst Society, the Humanities and Arts. For the lucky few who are fortunate to be unfamiliar with the hopeful winner's namesake, man, fuck you. Man, fuck you. Fuck you. Anyone who's unfamiliar with Fred Durst, I'm sorry, you shouldn't exist.
That's true. This is just slander.
This is fucking slander. And I'm saying this on his fucking 50th birthday. I'm a piece of shit, aren't I?
No, the person who wrote this is a piece of shit.
Yeah, we're gonna link this to Fred Durst, and he'll do the like SpongeBob, like every other word is a caption. Man, fuck you.
Fuck you. Hope that wasn't an offensive voice. That's just how I read those SpongeBob memes when I see them.
Durst rose to prominence as a frontman of the 90s rock rap group Limp Bizkit, known for their hits Rollin', Break Stuff, and Nookie. And apparently nearly 30,000 people believe it would be fitting to immortalize him by attaching his name to garbage. Not to the Madison band Garbage.
Yeah.
But the apparently not good kind of garbage. For what it's worth, Durst...
Can you imagine Garbage with Fred Durst as the front man?
I'd fucking listen to that shit in a heartbeat. We should do a mashup of that.
Hell yeah, I'll make one. If I can.
For what it's worth, Durst himself responded to the campaign on his Twitter. I want to thank all of you who are helping me in Austin. I hope we win. You know, Fred Durst, good taking it on the chin. You're fucking awesome.
Thank you.
That reminds me of when Pitbull went to that random fucking Walmart in Alaska because that random internet poll told him.
Because he's
the best
Mr.
shit the internet
International?
has ever done.
No, it's legitimately amazing. It's legitimately incredible. Voting closed yesterday, and this is back in 2011, so unfortunately we did not even know about this until nearly 10 years later. And the final decision lies with the city itself, but we certainly hope that Austin lives up to its weird reputation and approves the people's choice. Now, here's the thing. They also showed a screenshot of the poll. Now, here's some other funny ones. So, of course, the number one pick with fucking like 27,000 more votes than the last one was, of course, Fred Durst, Society of the Humanities and Arts. Next one listed here is the Department of Neat and Clean, which is just stupid. Ministry of Filth, which honestly, fuck, I'll go with that.
That sounds like a fucking black metal band.
Yeah.
Fucking hardcore name.
Yeah. You're going to love this one, Jess. Hufflepuff.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Hufflepuff
the
and
fuck-
Pass.
What fucking... Who voted for Hufflepuff? Like, oh, wouldn't it be cute if we called our fucking dump Hufflepuff? Because Harry Potter? What?
Here we go. Next one. I think this is a reference to a band, Maximum No Filth, which makes me think of the band Maximum the Hormone. I don't know what that's a reference to.
What about Maximum Ministry of Filth?
Is it it's supposed to be maximum rock and roll? Like I don't understand
What
what
about
the
Cradle of Filth?
next one listed here, and this is the one that should have won. Lemon Party.
Oh, yeah.
Austin Recycling and Waste Reduction Department. The acronym is like a shortened version of REWARD, which is just stupid. The Longhorn Alumni Society. What the fuck is that even a reference to?
There's
Something
probably some
Texas.
people who went to who are the Longhorns? Is that University of Texas?
It's
or
the
is that-
Longhorns' opponents.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's either the opponents or some people who went to that school and were not. They did not have a good time.
Okay, but, you know, it
students.
could be funny, but it's still dumb. The Austin Waste and Recycling Services, also known as Aware Services, which, no, because there's no E. So it's Aware, AWAR Services, which is, once again, stupid.
Ours.
And the last one is Waste Not, Want Not. Which is, once
Objectively
again-
better than the fucking Aware Services.
Oh, yeah.
I got to say.
Also,
And yet
it's
it got
just
less
like-
votes.
And I will say that is the article.
It's waste not, want not, and just like pathetically written. Like only the first word is capitalized. It's just like,
they
waste-
put no effort into it.
281 grandmas were just like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. I suppose we could vote for that.
No.
Oh. All right. So, does anyone have any final thoughts before we get to the vote?
Wait, do we know what it ended up being called?
It did not end up getting named that.
Did it end up getting named any of those things?
No, it probably was just renamed some fucking boring thing. It was probably named after like some Texas governor who was responsible for another Native American genocide.
It was named like
So-
Dave Lazowski after the guy from Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they named it after the guy who won that contest from fucking Legend of Zelda game, Link to the Past. There's that whole like room, like Chris O'Hanahan room or whatever. Named it after that guy.
Wait, is that the guy who had like that giant piss jug in his room?
Yes. It was named after the guy who created the My Little Pony cum jar.
Oh,
That's
God.
what they named it after.
The cum drawer.
Eh.
Oh, I've seen
the cum box,
drawer.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the cum
No,
box.
the cum box, yes.
The piss drawer. I was thinking of the piss drawer.
The
Mom
cum
found the
box is
piss
something
drawer.
I do
Yeah,
never
the
want to
kid's wearing
remember.
a Batman costume and they find a piss drawer. By the way, I'm an antinatalist for good reason. All right, Jesse.
Because you
anything-
come in a box.
Yeah. Listen,
Come in a box.
I was gonna make that fucking reference. God damn it! All right, but Jess, do you have any points before we get to the vote?
No, not really. I don't think.
This one made
All
me
right.
less depressed.
Yeah. All right, and once again on Fred Durst's birthday, we will honor him by voting for the best Fred Durst side thing here.
This is a hard vote. I don't know. What am I voting for?
Well, you're voting for the thing that's more interesting, maybe better, or the most Fred Dursty thing.
Now, see, there are different ways I could take this, and I've made my decision, but
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to get to the countdown.
All right.
All right, so 3, 2, 1. Woodstock 99.
99.
So we all vote for Woodstock 99.
Yeah.
it's because
It's very Durstian.
It's Durstian, and it's unfairly remembered, frankly.
And there's also frankly more to talk about in the next time it goes up against.
Certainly, frankly, more to talk about.
And by next time, the podcast will have plugged us.
If that dump in Austin was actually named that, I would vote for it.
Yeah, and we take a field trip to it.
We absolutely would. I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
let's fucking go.
We'll take on the scene reporting for the episode if it were to win.
On location,
Austin, Texas.
But yeah, the Woodstock '99 performance. I feel that it sounds like Limp Bizkit is a little unfairly maligned for that because I feel like that's more on the festival organizers than it is actually on Limp Bizkit.
And there's no way any of that is their fault.
No, and that's the thing is that even if you were to blame a specific band, which I think is like pretty not appropriate, Red Hot Chili Peppers were objectively the ones when the riots started.
Yeah, and if we're gonna just blame a random band for no reason, let's fucking Imagine Dragons or something.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, blaming Red Hot Chili Peppers for the downfall of like
Imagine
the world as we
Dragons
know
should be
it
blamed for more
would be a
things.
fair thing because Red Hot Chili Peppers are a fucking awful band. So
Well, you can't knock them because they invented an entire genre, funk.
yes, and they also, by the way, invented the idea of playing funky music while being white and having a bassist and a singer.
Yeah, and having a sock on your cock. Come on.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They also invented Mike Patton's existence. So here's the thing. Mike Patton, you're a fraud. I'm sorry. This is now the Red Hot Chili Peppers fucking podcast.
Taylor, are you a anti I Am Legend person?
Here's the thing. Mr. Bungle shouldn't exist. I'm sorry, folks. They shouldn't exist.
There's going to be a new Mr. Bungle album. Did you hear about that?
I'm excited.
How is Mike Patton involved in I Am Legend?
Oh, this is fun.
Well, he voiced all the
He
fucking
voiced
monsters.
the zombies.
Are you serious?
Yup.
No, he's a prolific voice actor. Didn't you know that? Mike Patton's a very prolific voice
Check
actor.
it out. Look it up.
I had no fucking
Mike
idea.
Patton is the zombies in I Am
Holy
Legend.
shit.
Because he's a really good vocalist, unlike Anthony Kiedis, who can suck my fucking penis.
Anthony Kiedis.
My name's Anthony Kiedis, and I suck.
I don't want to go under the bridge.
All right, Anthony Kiedis, I kind of wish you would overdose, so I wouldn't have to hear your music.
fuck.
So
Jesus. Doesn't he have AIDS?
no,
I thought he did.
no, I think we're thinking of Charlie Sheen. I mean, to be fair, Anthony Kiedis and Charlie Sheen have probably raped the same amount of people.
It wasn't Anthony Kiedis in Deadfall?
Yeah, it was. There's actually a funny performance where Mr. Bungle do covers of various Red Hot Chili Pepper songs, and there's a performance where one of the guitarists, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's doing a mock shooting up. While he's playing guitar and making fun of the fact that their guitarist fucking OD'd.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
It's really funny. Anyways, that is a Fred Durst Friday. Once again, happy 50th fucking birthday, Fred Durst.
Happy 50th, Fred Durst.
You don't look a day over.
It's half a fucking
You
century.
don't look a day over 51.
Yeah.
You know, quite frankly, he doesn't look like he's
He's
even 50
aged
years
well.
old.
He's
No,
aged
honestly,
pretty
for
well.
a 50-year-old, he looked pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
All right. So, once again, this is Cage Fight, Fred Durst Friday. This is Taylor signing off.
Bye, babe.
This is Jess. Bye-bye.